back again. Today I'm reviewing Day 2 of WrestleMania 36, the show that was too big for one night, right before the Raw after Mania, and we'll review that tomorrow. But, here we go. First off, on the kickoff show, Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Liv Morgan wins. It was a good match, a good technical match between Natalya and Liv Morgan, which I really didn't expect. Especially because WWE really hasn't built Liv Morgan well. They never really did. Even in the Lana feud when she returned, they still never built her well. She was always the jobber of the Riot Squad. Still kind of a jobber in the Lana feud, but more of a brawler if she won, or when she did win. But this match was a surprise, and I liked it. It was a good match, but it surprised me, but I also liked it. And I think it was also because Natalya was in it, but it was a good technical match. Good for what it was. Good enough for the pre-show, about 12 minutes. Good length. They didn't make either of them look bad. They let them both look good. The finish was great, especially with Liv Morgan rolling up Natalya, which is perfect for her to springboard her into a higher level. Because, again, as I said, they never really built her well. As a wrestler, you don't really even know what her finisher is. So that's a perfect way to start putting her on a higher trajectory with the roll-up finish and actually start having her string some wins. So I'm happy with that. I liked it. About a 3-star match for what it was. So about 7, if it was a 7 out of 10. But 3 stars is like down the middle. But it was good for what it was. I enjoyed it. Now, on the main show, the first match of the main show, here's where I'm really going to get pissed off because the switch is flipped here. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship. The match, let's talk about the good before I really flip here. The match was great. It was a classic. It was an instant classic. Charlotte and Rhea, their styles matched so well. They worked. The match was a stiff match, a strong style match, if there ever was one. You could tell because there was no audience and people were, well, I mean, people were complaining about the noise. If you're on Twitter, you get it. But the styles meshed well. They did so well against each other. Rhea looked a little bit weak at the start, but then she started building herself back into the match. But at first, they kind of made her look weak, I should say. But they let her build into the match, so that complaint isn't really as bad. But tapping out to Charlotte, I mean, I get she was getting called up, but Charlotte's still going. She just said she's going to defend the NXT Women's title on every brand. So, you really could just have Rhea do that, or at least Raw and NXT. But I mean, I don't know. The thing that... So now I'm going to segue into the part that pissed me off. Charlotte Flair winning the NXT Women's title. Why? Why do you have to keep stat padding Charlotte Flair? Is it because she's Ric Flair's daughter? She's not that good of a wrestler. I mean, she's good when she's against a really good wrestler, but she's not special. She's not special like... People that are special in my eyes in women's wrestling, great women's wrestlers, like the best of the best. Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler. Maybe I'd even throw Ronda Rousey in there. She's not great, but she's better than Charlotte. But Charlotte, she is the most undeserving champion ever of anything. I mean, just because she has the Flair name. At least, I mean, yeah, people like Roman now because you can't really hate him you look like a nozzle if you do. I like him though. He became himself. After the leukemia thing, he started acting more like himself instead of a Superman, and that made me start really liking him. And they kind of put him on the back burner a little bit and actually organically build. So I'm not going to complain about him. But Roman, at least he has redeeming qualities. Or at least he had redeeming qualities when everybody hated him. Charlotte just doesn't. And Rhea Ripley is awesome. She deserves way more than to just be fed to Charlotte like everybody else. Why? And the thing that gets me mad the most is that I have a lot of Rhea Ripley fans on my Twitter. You know who you are if you're watching this. And they got pissed off. Like, they let it ruin the whole Day 2 show. I mean, even the whole WrestleMania for them. I'm a Rhea Ripley stan, too. I like Rhea Ripley. She's a good wrestler. But I'm not going to let one horrible finish, result, I'm not going to let it ruin the show for me. And some of these people were just like me. They were preaching, oh, even though there's the coronavirus, you should appreciate this show because we shouldn't even really be having this WrestleMania. You should appreciate it. And then what do they do? Because their favorite lost, they turn hypocritical. I'm sorry. I am freaking sorry. I cannot get behind that. I cannot get behind that. The rest of the show was great. This was one of the best matches. Probably the best match with the worst result. Like, legit. It was probably one of the top 3 matches of the weekend. Maybe 5 if you want to count the cinematic matches. Top 5 if you want to count the cinematic matches. But I kind of put those in a different, group because they weren't in a ring. They were kind of more Tarantino or Tarantino-esque, So I'm not going to put them in the same category as the matches, but top 3 regular matches, top 5 overall. But come on. Probably the second best match of the weekend, actually. And then probably the 4th best with the cinematics. But yeah. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Everybody should have appreciated this Mania. I don't care if your favorite lost or not. And that ruined your night. I'm sorry. I can't get behind that. I can't get behind Charlotte as champion, and I can't get behind the fact that y'all got pissed off. It was a whole cluster of problems with that match that kind of makes me want to, if I ever watch it again, it'll make me look at it like, yeah, great match, the entire mention of which wants me to poke my eyes straight into my skull. But good for you. Good for you. I still love my Rhea Ripley stans on Twitter, but please, don't do that again. I thought you were better than this. I thought you were better than the AEW marks. I thought you were better than that. Probably some of them are AEW marks who act like they Rhea Ripley stans to hate watch WWE and then say some bad stuff as soon as they find it. Or they were AEW marks. They're like, oh, I'm going to change up my profile just so I could fit in and hate on this. Probably, but if you did that, you're horrible too. But we're done with this match. Good match, horrible finish, horrible circumstances that happened after it. Twitter blew up, and it shouldn't have, but it did. But the bright side is hopefully Toni Storm's the one to take the NXT Women's title off of Charlotte Flair. Of course I'd want that. All right, okay. Let's move on. Match number 3, Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black. Glorified Aleister Black squash match. He wins. Good, yes. A little bit longer than the normal one because it was WrestleMania. Yes. Nothing special. That's what it was. So, 3 stars. 2.5. Yeah. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. I think it was a good match. I really do. I like the storyline going into it. That's probably what made it better. And it was pretty even for the 10 minutes they wrestled. Low blows to each guy. Sonya distracted Otis. Dolph kicked him in the jewels. Then Mandy Rose came out. Attacked Sonya. Punched Dolph in the jewels when Sonya had the ref distracted again. Otis hits the caterpillar elbow. Or or more like I think it's more like an elbow drop, yeah. And wins, and gets the girl. That was pretty good. 3 stars. That was pretty good. Enjoyable. Pretty good, pretty good. And then the 5th match of the night, 4th on the main card, Edge versus Orton, last man standing. This was creative. I think this was awesome considering where they were, with how they were in the WrestleMania with no fans. This was so creative. You'll never see a last man standing match like this again. Them fighting in the Performance Center gym, them fighting in the offices, them fighting in the warehouse. Like, this was just awesome. Like, they used this situation for so much creativity. I loved watching it. It fit well with the Edge-Orton feud. It's probably better than it would have been had they still been in Tampa Bay. So that was great. Say 4.5 stars. Best match of the weekend by far, if you're not talking about the cinematic matches. If you're just talking about the regular matches, best of the weekend by far. Edge wins by hitting Orton with a concerto. Well, choking him out, then hitting him with a concerto like he did after Rumble weekend. But the best part about it is, the most cinematic part about it is Edge broke into tears before he did it. Like, it showed you that he didn't want to do it, but he had to do it. And then he won the match. Best match of the weekend by far, honestly. It wasn't a cinematic match, so. Not saying any matches there were some almost bad matches, but none of them were like trash. But definitely best match of the weekend. Like, I think that's what it won. It won best match of the weekend. Now, the Raw Tag Team title match between the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory from Evolve. Man, that guy blew up quick, didn't he? About like 7 months ago, he was on the Evolve 10th anniversary show, and now he's on WrestleMania. Wow. It's crazy. Good match. About a 10-minute match. Street Profits got their stuff in. Garza and Theory got their stuff in. Street Profits win. And then, well, Garza and Theory and Zelina Vega attack the Street Profits. Bianca Belair comes out to attack Zelina Vega. And the Street Profits get back in, attack away Garza and Theory. They're still your champions. And Bianca Belair is basically called up as well. They celebrate in the ring, WrestleMania moment for Montez Ford, his wife Bianca Belair, and Angelo Dawkins. Which, that was a great moment. I enjoyed it. It was nice to see Bianca Belair attack Zelina Vega. That was a surprise, but that was nice. So she's probably called up as well. So, again, another reason why my theory Toni Storm's taking the NXT women's title off of Charlotte is right. It's either her or Io Shirai, but not right now. Io's not going to win that first match against Charlotte, so. But it's either going to be Toni Storm or Io Shirai. It's got to be. It's got to be. It's got to be. Oh, don't tell me. Or it could be Rock's daughter, and that would be just horrible. Well, I mean, I don't know, but. I mean, let's be honest. I think we know where that one's going. I hope they prove me wrong, if that's the case, but we know where that one's going. We know where that one's going. Again, I hate nepotism. I hate nepotism. Maybe that's why it's a good reason I'm a blogger boy instead of a wrestler. Besides the fact my shoulder is screwed up and I think I may have slipped a disc earlier this year, so that's why I haven't worked out and shit. But whatever. 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 My shoulder definitely is screwed up, but I don't know. And I'm only 20 years old. Joy. I don't know how I did it. Well, I know how I did the shoulder, but that's always been screwed up. I pulled an open challenge, Sami Zayn. A little bit of a Sami Zayn mark, and I got the entrance down. Look at my TikTok, but I know I did this, but it's always been screwed up. The disc, I don't know. Then next up, let's get off that. Next up, the women's Fatal 5-Way Smackdown Women's title match. I liked it. 15 minutes. The elimination style was great. I enjoyed watching it. It was a good match. Bayley retained. I don't think the eliminations were in the right order. It would have been nice if it came down to Sasha versus Bayley, and then Sasha, like, just viciously beat the living you-know-what out of Bayley and then won the title. And either turned Bayley back face or somewhat turned Sasha face. I don't know, but that would have been better, but maybe they're saving that for SummerSlam if there is a SummerSlam. But I mean, I'll take what it was. At least it wasn't like Naomi or Tamina at the end against Bayley, because they're just trash. They're just trash. I don't like Lacey Evans either, but she's the best of the worst three they put in there. Because if I diss her, I mean, people will be like, oh, she's a former... If I don't diss her too much, people are like, oh, she's a former Marine. Okay. My dad was a Marine as well. Not saying I'm going to disrespect the Marines, but it's not special. It's like, okay, yeah, you were in the Marines. Cool, my dad was in the Marines too. What, you want me to give you a medal? Well, you want me to give you a medal? That's my life. Well, it's not my life. He got out before I was born, but I know all the stories. He was a recruiter type, Staff Sergeant E6. Yeah, E6. Type of stuff, I know the stories. You're not impressing me at all, okay? My dad was a Marine. You're not impressing me at all, okay? That don't impress me much. It may impress some wrestling fans. It don't impress me much at all. All right? It just don't. It just don't. I'm sorry. And you're not good in the ring either, but it don't impress me much. It doesn't. It does not impress me much. If people don't have family members in the Marines, they're like, okay. Or any military branch, it's like, okay, that impresses me. Nah, it doesn't impress me. It don't. It don't. It's nothing special. It's like, okay, yeah, you served your country. Thank you, but that don't impress me. That don't make me think you deserve every title in the world, and I'm not Vince McMahon either. It does help. She's Vince McMahon's type, which is why, whatever. I won't go there. But the match was good. You know what it is. Next up, the Firefly Funhouse match between John Cena versus Bray Wyatt / The Fiend / This cinematic match was like an acid trip. It legitimately was. Like it was crazy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was crazy. Like, it had Cena go through every phase of his career, prototype, thugonomics, had him act like he was on Saturday night's main event, went back to the WrestleMania 30 match, brought him back to current John Cena, which I guess that was still current John Cena, showed Bray as Husky Harris, or made a reference to Husky Harris, showed him as old cult leader Bray Wyatt. He's got the whole world in his hands, Bray. Showed the Fiend. And also, again, put him in a Saturday night's main event aspect. Oh, and NWO Cena and NWO Bray acting like Eric Bischoff. I mean, it was good. It was an acid trip, but it was good. Like, the Boneyard match was more traditional, but it was great. Firefly Funhouse was like, well, I guess that's because it's the Firefly Funhouse. It was good. It was great, but it was an acid trip, and it wasn't really a match. It was more of a promo that they put a couple of wrestling moves in and said it was a match. But I liked it. I think it was better than the Boneyard match, unironically. So, there you go. There you go. And then finally, the WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar. It was another one of those big guys throwing finishers at each other match. Drew hits an early Claymore on Brock Lesnar. Brock kicks out. Brock hits him with like 4 F5s. Drew kicks out of every single one of them. He tries to suplex Drew. He throws Brock, or Brock gets thrown into the ropes. He gets claymored, and then Drew hits him 2 more claymores, and Drew pins him, wins the WWE Championship, finishes his journey, which I'm happy with seeing it. And hey, even referenced Broken Dreams on Twitter, which really should still be his entrance theme. Bring it back. Broken Dreams is one of the best entrance songs ever. Or at least you could bring back the remix, which is a little bit better, that was never used. Or use the remix that was never used, but that was a little bit better than the just completely slow version. But there was a remix, look it up, Broken Dreams remix, WWE Uncaged or something. It's there, look it up, it's better, but whatever. But Drew McIntyre wins. He is the WWE Champion. He finishes his quest. He wins the title. Now, my final thoughts on WrestleMania. I loved it. WrestleMania was, I think this was the best WrestleMania in years. At least since 30. Maybe. Yeah. Best WrestleMania since 30. Probably one of the best WrestleManias in the last 12 years. If I'm being honest. I loved it. And I hope that people learn some things from this. That WrestleMania should be 2 nights instead of a 7-hour snooze fest. I didn't say tape it, I just said 2 nights. NXT don't even want to do takeovers on like Big 4 weekends anymore. Look at Portland. And Worlds Collide was okay, but the 2 matches I cared about the most was DIY versus Mustache Mountain and Toni Storm versus Rhea Ripley when that happened. That's 3 for the counter of references to, yeah, that's 3 for the counter. I guess, would that be 4 now? Okay, whatever, who cares? But, yeah, WrestleMania needs to be 2 nights from now on. I'm sorry. Like, this was perfect. 3 hours each night, you split it down the middle, or 8. You split it down the middle, great. You can make 1 night SmackDown, 1 night Raw, or just put different matches on both nights. It's perfect. And the people who deserve to main event WrestleMania can say that, oh, I main evented night 1. Oh, I main evented night 2. And even New Japan did this with Wrestle Kingdom, their WrestleMania. They made it 2 nights. They stopped doing, or they moved New Year's Dash to either the day after again or the weekend after. And they still did Wrestle Kingdom over 2 days. So if New Japan did it and it worked here for WWE, I'm just saying 2 nights is great. And possibly the fact that after SmackDown there could be an off season considering the COVID pandemic. I think it should give us the idea that maybe the off season was always correct and everybody's been talking about this over 10 years. But if people complain about it, you're a hypocrite. But I'm just saying the off season may be a great idea. So those were my final thoughts. WrestleMania was a great show. I loved watching it. If you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell all your friends. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the Raw after Mania. I'm Ron and I'm out. Peace.